Welcome to SIPA Conference 2008. I am Mateen, Syed. I have with me Sandeep Vishnu. He is the Managing Director of the Financial Services Unit of Bearing Point. It's my pleasure to welcome him to SIPAcon. Vishnu, welcome.
Thank you, Mateen. Very happy to be here.
Thank you. You come from a very interesting background. In these economic times, people don't really like people like you. But we have a lot of value to offer. In word, you are a thorough consultant.
That's exactly right.
The current market scenario, what role do consultants play when everybody's trying to...
Very good question. This is, and I was saying this a little earlier, from a consulting perspective, these are the best of times and these are the worst of times. And I know this is borrowing from a famous quote from Charles Dickens, but it's true. Anytime you have major changes, major turmoil in the market, it offers up tremendous consulting opportunities. Now, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, half empty, half full, however you want to look at it. Because when times are tough, one of the first things to go is variable spend. So consulting dollars are going to get cut. And we are seeing that in the market. Lots of projects that we were signing up for have been put on hold, have been cancelled. At the same time, companies have to fundamentally change their cost structure, which doesn't come from variable spend. So when they start cutting deeply in their own ranks, they end up in a situation where they are not able to do everything they need to do, and they have to hire consultants again. And then that variable spend becomes an easy way to manage your cost structure because it's not adding to fixed costs. So these times are very interesting. We're seeing a lot of activity. We're seeing probably a slowdown in decision making. So not enough is moving as fast as it should, but the degree of interest in consulting is very high.
You were involved in many different industries as a consultant. Was there a particular one where you had the most challenge so far? You were involved in many different industries as a consultant. Was there a particular one where you had the most challenge so far?
Oh, that's a very, very good question. I would say, quite honestly, the industry I found to be most challenging was telecommunications. And it probably was as much a matter of timing as it was anything else. Because the telecommunications industry for the longest time was a monopoly. There was one phone company, people grew up with it, it was almost like a utility. And then it went through a mega restructuring with major players failing, new entrants coming. Technology probably played a bigger role in telecom than it did in almost any other industry in the last 20 years. That change and managing and consulting in that change, on general consulting, if you had specific point solutions, it was great, right? I have the latest killer wireless app, no problem, I can sell it. But generalized consulting in that environment, very difficult because you were dealing with people that thought they were in it for life, that looked at it as a utility, and now they were thrown open into startup competition. So that was probably the most challenging industry at that time.
Most of our audience here are professionals and they come from technology background. And they always have two questions on their mind. One is how to jump into entrepreneurship. The other one is how to become a consultant. So they come to comfort level in their careers and they say, well, maybe this is the time for me. And the motivation is always more about the dollar rather than career enhancement. So I'm taking two scenarios here. One is a hardcore technology professional who's now jumping into becoming a consultant. And the other guy is a general consultant, but he has to again pick and choose in industries which are doing and thriving at a particular given time. They probably justify their roles equally, but you have seen both. I just want you to elaborate on these two scenarios. Most of our audience here are professionals and they come from technology background. And they always have two questions on their mind. One is how to jump into entrepreneurship. The other one is how to become a consultant. So they come to comfort level in their careers and they say, well, maybe this is the time for me. And the motivation is always more about the dollar rather than career enhancement. So I'm taking two scenarios here. One is a hardcore technology professional who's now jumping into becoming a consultant. And the other guy is a general consultant, but he has to again pick and choose in industries which are doing and thriving at a particular given time. They probably justify the roles equally, but you have seen both. I just want you to elaborate on these two scenarios.
So, if you're a technology consultant and you want to move away from if you're a technology professional and you want to move away from a large organization and move into consulting, you have to keep in mind that the reason people are going to hire you is for a few different things. One, maybe you can deliver things faster. Maybe you can deliver things cheaper, biggest motivation. Or third, maybe you do have a skill set that they don't have, and then it is truly a value add. No matter what it is, you have to make sure that you understand that what you're doing today is not what you're going to be doing tomorrow. So if you think that you can continue doing what you are doing in a nice and a better cost structure, a better profit structure for yourself as an independent consultant, you might be able to do it for a short time, but then that runway will disappear because there will be change, and if you haven't thought about what's next, that's going to disappear. The more you are in a repetitive business, in a commodity type business, the more you're going to compete on price and not value. So I would keep, if I were a technology professional thinking about moving into independent consulting, I would truly think about why I'm doing it. If it is simply for higher revenues, higher margins, then keep in mind that they might disappear very quickly if you aren't always thinking about how to adding to your skill set and be prepared for what's coming. If you're a general consultant, look for industry. Again, you have to see what your value proposition is. Is it speed? Is it cost? So you look for industries. Like in financial services today, speed is essential. Right? They want everything done right now. I have so many bad mortgages in my portfolio, get rid of it. If you can come up with an analytic solution that says, I will comb through this entire set of data and find the toxic mortgages, and then you can unwind them, yes, you've got an option. You can't do that as easily in the energy business because that's booming. Oil prices are still rising, even though I know we've had the downside. So you have to pick and see what your value is and which industry needs it.
How far down do you see the turnaround, and which industries do you think are going to lead it?
That's a very good question. I actually think the conventional wisdom says that this is going to last into 2009. And I suspect that it's right. This is going to last into 2009. But I do see the turnaround happening faster than I think people are expecting it to. Simply because, in percentage terms, the loss in the market right now has not been nearly as big as it was during the Vietnam War or the Great Depression. The difference is that the market is now accessible to more people. So the impact is being felt by more people, which is why it seems to be a bigger issue. But we have a downturn. But we still have the potential to come out of it very quickly, because fundamentally, the things that are happening in the market, whether it's financial services, whether it's technology, companies and the human psyche is willing to be down for only so long. If you look at the market, it's going down even though there's no new information. Like, that makes no sense. It's sentiment driven. If the sentiment changes, market will be going up even though there's no new information, which is what we found. So I see this very much as part of business cycles. If you are in a situation right now when you are cash strapped, then you have to get creative. But if you can write it out, the opportunities are plenty.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Mateen. We're very happy to be here and glad to be part of SIPAcon this year.